Hey everybody, welcome to Yoga Moments and our Yoga for Nurses series. This is our transition day, so if you're coming off of nights and you're finished your run going back into a regular, your 5 days off, or if you're doing a 5-day schedule and this is your Friday, yay! We have a nice flow for you, nice and grounded, to help you transition back into a normal schedule and just reclaim, reground, a little self-love for you. So when you're ready, we'll hop on the mat. We're going to start in a very, very sweet extended child's pose. So bring your knees as wide as your mat, toes together, and we are going to just walk it out. Bring our head and our heart towards the mat here and start to deepen your breath. So if you have trouble bringing your head and your heart down, you can get a block or a book or 2 books. If you have an old nursing textbook that you don't really use anymore, great. But we'll bring it down, melt our heart in towards the earth. And start to really deepen your breath. You might kind of rock your forehead out on the mat. Massage your forehead. Or you might find stillness here. Wherever you are, deepen those breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale. Lead with our heart. Bring our heart out to the right side and all the way up. And then on an exhale, we'll bring it all the way back. So we're drawing circles here. Nothing fancy. But we are going to try and synchronize this to our breath. So inhale, come forward. Exhale, bring it back. And I invite you to kind of take control of your destiny here. If you find somewhere that you're like, oh yeah, this side feels really good, stretch it out. Find what feels good. Find what it is that you need. And then when you're ready, we'll go the other way. So inhale up and to the left, exhale to the right. Finding lots of space in our back and our side bodies. And if there's anything else you need, go for it, take it. We'll meet each other in tabletop positions. So if you need to break off your wrist, come up at any point, stretch it out, rotate the wrists. It's always good if you haven't done this for very long, or maybe you've just had a break, to take care of our wrists. It's always good to take care of ourselves. So listening to our bodies. In tabletop position, I have my index fingers pointed up towards the top of my mat. I stack my shoulders over top of my wrists and I press into all 10 fingers. If you haven't done that, it's a little weird sensation initially, but it's to get the weight out of the palm of your hand so we're not collapsing into our wrists. Pressing into all 10 fingers. Hips are over top of the knees. And I draw my heart up between my shoulder blades here. So shoulders away from the ears. Crown is reaching towards the wall ahead of me. Tailbone reaching back behind me. Navel's drawing in and up as well. So finding this alignment. I've got my toes curled. They can be either way, but we're going to curl them for right now because we're going to press up, draw our heart and our navel up, and we're going to come into a hovering cat here. So breathe here. We're here for just a couple of breaths. And we'll come back down. Beautiful. Keep our toes curled. We're going to inhale, lift, almost like, it's like if you had a tail and someone was going to lift you up by the tail. We're going to lead with our hips, come up into down dog. And I really encourage you here, bend your knees, so don't worry about getting your feet flat on the ground. We're going to press into all 10 fingers, again, taking the weight out of our wrists. And we're going to lengthen our spine here. So press into all 10 fingers. Rotate your elbows in and up towards the wall in front of you. And then draw your shoulders away from your ears. You can walk the legs out. Find a little stretch in them. And then I'm going to take just one breath of stillness here. So see if you can find stillness. You can keep your knees bent. Find what you need here. A little bit of work. All right, we're gonna cross the right foot in front of our left, and we're gonna slowly step it up by crisscrossing our feet. So a little stretch in the backs of the legs. And if you do it in 5 steps or you do it in 2, who cares? No big deal. We're gonna press into all 4 corners of our feet, come into a forward fold. You can bend your knees here and take what you need. So if you need to walk it out, go for it. If your body's like, oh man, moving, if you need to come up, shake it out, go for it. And then when you're ready, we're gonna inhale and just roll it up nice and slow. So really pressing into all 4 corners of your feet. You can wiggle the toes. Coming all the way up. And then finding our alignment. So bring your shoulders up on an inhale. Exhale all the way back. See if you can lift up from the kneecap, drop from the arches of your feet. Find that alignment on the inside. All right, on an inhale, we'll sweep up nice and tall. Exhale, take it all the way down. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift right away. So draw your hands up the shins, up the thighs. Lift your elbows, find that length in the spine. Exhale all the way down. We're gonna plant the hands on either side of the feet. Step the right foot back and come into a lunge here. So I'm pressing into all 4 corners of my left foot, drawing up from the arch, reaching through my right heel here. So really finding a little bit of stretch. And I'm squeezing my thighs towards the midline. That's gonna give me some stability here. So stretch it out in the back foot and the back leg. Everybody inhale, look up, lift your heart. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. You're doing awesome. And then we're gonna exhale, lower the back knee. From here, I'm gonna make sure that I'm on 2 separate tracks so that my left foot and my right leg are not in line with each other. I am gonna squeeze my thighs together. Press into your back foot, press into all 4 corners of your front foot. Inhale, come all the way up. So you can let your tailbone be heavy here. If you were after nights and you're really groggy, you can always come to here. Bring your hands down to your left knee. Or you can inhale, come all the way up. On an exhale, we're gonna twist to the left. So draw your left hip crease back. Breathe here. Tailbone is heavy. Navel's drawing in and up. And then we're gonna exhale all the way back. So I'm gonna curl my right toes, lift up, step my left foot back. So briefly in plank here. Draw your heart up between your shoulder blades. Reach your crown towards the front of your mat. Reach your heels and your tailbone towards the back. And then exhale, lower down. So we will press into our pelvis. Bring your hands in and under our shoulders. Let your elbows be heavy here. On an inhale, we're going to come up, lift your heart away from your pelvis. Just a little baby cobra. Gazes down. Exhale, lower. We're going to inhale, press up to tabletop. And then, it's not a perfect tabletop because we're going to come right through and go into down dog. So, pedaling it out here. See if you can find that one moment of stillness. That might be the most challenging thing for a lot of healthcare workers because we don't always work in stillness. I'm going to cross my left foot in front of my right this time. Crisscross it up, reaching through the heel. And coming into our forward fold at the top of the mat. Take one breath. We're going to inhale, root to rise. Press into all 4 corners of your feet. Come all the way up. Exhale, we'll bring our hands down to our heart. Take a moment and check in here. All right, inhale. Bend the knees, come all the way up. Big breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. All the way up, front body drawing up towards the back body. Lift those elbows. Exhale, lower down. We're going to plant the hands. This time we're going to step the left foot back. So coming into our lunge, front knee over front ankle, squeezing the thighs towards the midline. reach through that back foot. So find something new here. See if you can really articulate that stretch through the heel. Maybe you shift your weight a little bit. Everybody, inhale, look up towards the front of your mat. Eyes up, heart's reaching forward, you're doing awesome. And then we're gonna exhale, lower down with the back leg. So again, we're on 2 separate tracks with our right foot and our left leg. Squeeze the thighs together, press into the ground. All 4 corners on your left foot, press into your back foot. Inhale, come all the way up. Again, modification here. If you're like, oof, arms up, oh, after night shift, bring your hands here to your right thigh. Deepen your breath here, so squeeze the thighs towards the midline. Let your tailbone be heavy. Feeling the stretch in the front of the left thigh, the left hip, and maybe potentially your right hip as well. On an exhale, we're going to turn to the right. So warrior 2 arms. Big breath here. You don't have to force it. If your twist is only to here, don't worry about it. With practice, you'll grow. Breathe 1 more breath. Exhale. Come all the way down. We're going to bring our right knee back. Bring our knees together, and we're going to send it back into child's pose. So our knees are together this time. You can drag your hands back towards your feet. Let your shoulders roll open over top of your knees. And again, if you have trouble bringing your head to the mat here, you can, your hips can be up further, that's okay. But if you want and you find it comfortable, bring a block or a book to your forehead. So breathe here. Find a little space, find a little love. See if you can really use that breath to open the back, your lower back. Now make this an experience. So instead of just moving to the next point, let's see if we can drag our hands across our mat all the way up and just see what the sensation's like. So see if you can really feel your bones, your muscles moving. See if you can feel the mat on the back of your hand. And we're going to inhale, bring it all the way up, lift our heart, and come back into tabletop. From here, we'll curl the toes, lift our hips all the way up into down dog. You're doing awesome. This is our last down dog, so take what you need here. Maybe you bring your tummy towards your thighs. Press into all 10 fingers. Take the weight out of the heels of your hand. So really pressing into all 10 fingers. Little like gecko hands. And then yogi's choice. You can repeat the walk that we did earlier. You can step it up to the top of your mat. Or if you feel like you've got some post-night shift energy, I don't know who does, but if you do, you can always hop it up to the front of your mat. We'll come into forward fold. And on an inhale, we'll rise up, take up space. Shake off your night shift. Exhale, we'll bring our hands to our heart. Alrighty, so nothing graceful here, or too graceful, or too complicated. I'm going to step with my right leg because it's closest to you guys, and I'm just going to step back into the middle of my mat. I'm going to keep my legs a little bit wider than my hips. I'm going to keep my back nice and straight. So finding this alignment, head over heart, heart over pelvis, and then taking it inside. So my pelvic floor is lifting up, navel's drawing in and up. Hopefully you're finding this alignment throughout your shifts now. I'm going to bring my hands to my heart so that I keep my sternum lifted up towards my thumbs. I'm going to turn my toes out a little bit, about 45 degrees. Find that straight back. Exhale. Lower your center. So your center moves and everything else around it's going to accommodate. So lowering my center, keeping my heart lifted. Nice straight long back. There we go. Now if your feet come up, if you're like, Janice, don't think so, you can absolutely bring your feet up here. Find this alignment in your front body so you've got a nice long spine. And if it's available to you, we're going to bring our elbows to the insides of our knee, bring our hands together, and then I'm going to squeeze back with my legs and I'm going to push out with my elbows. So I'm finding this kind of opposition, creating this nice long stretch. My hips are open, heels are reaching down, and if you're like, this is so not something that's comfortable to me, you can get a little chair or get some books and you can sit on those and you can just bend your knees and come up. So wherever you are, nice grounded pose, let your tailbone be heavy here. And just make sure that you're not, rounding through in order to do this, but you can lift your heart if that means you come up a little bit more to give yourself a little more space in the hips. Go for it. This is all about accommodating you, so get used to it. It's going to feel good. One more breath here. And then I'm going to swim my hands behind me. Come on to my bum. And nothing too fancy here. I'm going to move the mic back. We are going to swing onto our backs. So be mindful here. And you can walk it back. Come onto the ground. Oh, that feels good, especially after a night shift. And from here, we're going to hug our right leg up, bring our right knee to our chest, bring our left knee to our chest, and rock it out here. So find a little rock and roll. Continuing to breathe. And then maybe you draw circles with your knees. It feels really good, like really, really good to massage that lower back and, the top part of your butt. So find what you need here. Continuing to breathe. Maybe you rotate the feet, hug the knees in. And from here, I'm going to hug my right knee in. I'm going to extend my left leg up and I'm going to lower it down. So if your left leg is like bent in the knee, who cares? No big deal. We're going to extend through the heel and reach it all the way towards the ground. So option to lower it all the way down. Either way, what's going on in my left foot is I'm flexing my toes up towards the sky to really engage, keep my knee protected, and then I'm going to ground my femur down towards the earth. So I'm creating this opposition here, active in the left leg for my hips, and I'm hugging my right knee in towards my chest, maybe in towards my shoulder if that's a little more comfortable for you. So you know your body. Reaching through the heel here, creating this stretch across my hips, and breathing. And if you want to kind of rock your right knee in and out, again, stay active in the left foot. You can create a little space in your hips here. It might be good for those of us who stand a lot and lift and turn and boost. Or, just if you're at the bedside and there's IV pumps and you're reaching and turning and ducking and bending. I gotcha. All right. I'm going to hug my left leg in as well and take it over to the other side. So I'm going to hug my left knee in towards my chest, extend my right foot all the way up, and then I'm going to reach through my heel and extend as far out, bring it to the ground. Now, if you want a little more after night shift, you can always let your right leg hover a little bit. Make sure you stay active in the toes, flex them up towards the sky. Otherwise, just let your leg be heavy. Let the ground support you. That's what it's here for. And again, you might find a little movement, just hugging the left knee in towards the chest and then out towards the shoulder. Ground your right femur down, so right leg really coming towards the earth. Breathe. Maybe you even smile, it feels so good. All right. I'm going to extend my left foot and just shake it out. So find a little movement in your hips, in your knees. I'm going to draw my feet up so they're flat on the mat with my knees above my ankles. So for most of us, it's going to be kind of at the end of our middle finger. And I'm going to pretend that I'm squeezing a nice big block between my thighs. So holding that image just to keep my thighs engaged and from my hips from splaying out. I'm going to press into all four corners of your feet, I'm going to press into all four corners of your feet. I'm going to press into all four corners of my feet. See if you can find that lift up through the arch. And then we're going to inhale, press down to come up. So press into all four corners of your feet. Lift your hips up. I'm going to snuggle my shoulders underneath. So shins and knees are reaching towards the end of our mat. Hips are reaching up towards the ceiling. Chest is coming towards our chin, and then the chin comes up towards the sky. And we do that to protect our neck. So the neck is part of our spine, so we're going to be kind to that as well. Breathe here. And then we're going to exhale, lower down. And just take a couple of breaths. So anytime we do spinal flexion or spinal extension, it's really a good practice to just take a breath or two afterwards to give your spine time to neutralize so that we're not going one way and then the other and then twisting unexpectedly. We're just giving our spine one breath to catch up, and it's going to keep it happy and healthy, which keeps us happy and healthy and able to enjoy our downtime or our retirement time away from the job as well. So, because that's important. We always talk about quality of life. So from here, I'm going to lift my right ankle, my right foot, bring it over towards my left knee. So I've created kind of like a little triangle with my legs. My right hand is going to reach through that triangle. I'm going to lift up and I'm going to grab my left thigh. So both hands here hanging onto the left thigh. Toes are flexed towards the ceiling. I'm going to hug my left thigh up towards my chest. So my navel's drawing in, my lower back is stamped down on the mat. And now I'm just opening the outside of my right hip here. And you might feel it into your quads. If you want a little extra traction, you can push out gently with your right elbow on your right thigh. Breathe here. And we'll release. So let your left leg come down. We'll let the right leg down and bring it to the other side. So left ankle comes up over the right knee. And then our left hand reaches in through that triangle. The right hand comes on the outside and we lift our right thigh up. If you notice a big difference between your left hip and your right hip, don't worry. That's very, very common. And kudos to you just for having awareness. So breathing here, active in both feet. So my right shin is parallel to the ground. So it's almost as though I'm pressing my right foot against a wall here and then hugging into my chest. See if you can find one place to soften here. On your next exhale, we'll release it down to the ground. I'm going to take my arms out nice and wide. In my case, my hand is going to go under a door. Hopefully you have a little more space. On an exhale, I'm going to let my knees fall to the left, and I'm going to look over my right shoulder as far as is comfortable. And I'm going to breathe here. So ending here with a little spinal twist. And really see if you can notice what happens when you extend your inhale and extend your exhale. So deepening your breath here. And just seeing how that changes your twist. Seeing where you feel it. So often, just by using our breath, we can go a little deeper into a stretch without having to force it or, push it. And on an inhale, we'll come all the way back to center. And exhale, take it to the right side. Gaze comes over your left arm. And again, deepen your breath. So again, I'm not really doing anything but breathing, just mindfully, consciously breathing, and my body already wants to find this stretch, this alignment, this feeling good. So a nice few breaths here. When you're ready, on an inhale, we'll come back to center. We'll exhale, extend the right leg, extend the left leg. I'm going to hug my shoulder blades in and under my back, opening my palms up towards the sky. And I am going to soften everywhere I can. So soften your forehead, your jaw, your tongue. Soften your neck, let your chest, your hips, your tummy be heavy. And then soften through your limbs, so fingers, toes, knees, thighs. And just see if you can feel the earth supporting you here. So again, without really doing anything, you have everything you need. Keep breathing. And I encourage you to stay here as long as you can and enjoy it. The rest of the series is going to be for building some strength in our back and in our core and taking care of ourselves. So enjoy this moment. When you're ready, we'll bring our hands up to our chest or up to our third eye. That space between your eyebrows. And thank you so much for doing everything you do, for taking care of others, and especially now for taking care of yourself. From my heart to yours, namaste.